Hi, Spirit Fam. Welcome to the channel. Today I have a pick a card on what you need to know about your current love life. If you are new to the channel, welcome to Eileen into Spirit. My name is Eileen Rouse. I am a psychic intuitive, a spiritual coach, and a sound healing practitioner. If you are coming back to the channel, welcome back. We love having you here and we appreciate each and every single one of you. So without further ado, Spirit Fam, let's go ahead and dive right into your pick a card. Okay, Spirit Fam, here are the 4 piles that you get to choose from for this pick a card. So we are starting out with pile 1, which is going to be this beautiful lapis lazuli. Pile 2 is going to be this gorgeous moldavite. Pile 3 is going to be selenite. And pile 4 is going to be pink sapphire. So what I would like for you to do at this time, Spirit Fam, is go ahead and take in a nice big deep breath. I want you to center yourself and really tune inward towards your guidance and your intuition. And listen to what Spirit has to say. What stone or what crystal are you being drawn to? Once again, pile 1 is going to be lapis lazuli. Pile 2 is going to be moldavite. Pile 3 is going to be selenite. And pile 4 is pink sapphire. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into your message on what you need to know about your current love life. Hi, pile 1. You chose this beautiful lapis lazuli. Now, we are going to read from the book on what this particular crystal or stone truly represents when it comes to relationships. Now, I want to point out that this deck comes from the Crystal Spirits Oracle Guide from Colette Baron Reed. And the reason I specifically chose these for this pick a card is because I feel that a lot of times when it comes to relationships, we often tend to gravitate towards things that we find beautiful, that we find alluring. There's something in what we see that truly allows us to gravitate towards that. And so this is why we are going to start out with what the book has to say about lapis lazuli when it comes to relationships. Now, in the book for lapis lazuli, the true essence or meaning of this particular stone is about spiritual truth. It's about enlightenment. It's about the inner vision and that interconnectedness and unity that we have with consciousness. So it's all about connecting to our higher truth, connecting to our inner wisdom, and just being truly in tune with it. Now, when it comes to relationships, especially with your current love life here, the book says all of us arose from the same liquid soap of potential when the earth began to take form. And you, like everyone, are made of the stuff of stars. You are intermingled within the creation of all of life. And lapis lazuli spirit is here to remind you that you are never alone. And you don't have to figure out this life stuff by yourself. Lapis lazuli spirit can help you learn through relationships with others and through tapping into the universe for higher wisdom and insights about those experiences. Sometimes it takes being around people with a different perspective to start to better understand yourself and what you most deeply value. Is someone in your life today gifting you with a new perspective and insights that can help you on your healing path? Look around you. For the conscious universe wants you to experience enlightenment and not to be in the dark, repeating the same old patterns. So I feel that we are starting out here, Pile 1, with a very clear message that what you need to understand when it comes to your relationships is that instead of looking at your current situation in your relationship as, either being good, bad, negative, positive, it's more along the lines of looking at it from the perspective of the value. What is the value that that experience or that individual or that relationship is bringing to the table for you? And it's about really truly understanding the inner wisdom, the inner guidance that comes deep from within you. I feel it's important to recognize that because I feel a lot of times we tend to sort of take a particular stance when it comes to relationships, especially if they remind us of a lot of other similar relationships. And I feel that it's important that you recognize here that whatever your current love life situation looks like, your guides and your message here is really wanting you to open up to the idea that allies can come in forms you might not have expected. So it's about not really being one way or the other, not taking a particular stance, but being open to receiving the internal wisdom and guidance from your intuition about your current situation and your current relationships, and what you are actually, currently going through. So next we have the Chess Queen, and this is about trust. So I feel that maybe here, Pile 1, there's just a little bit of trust issues that are currently going on in your love life. Or in your relationships. And I feel that you're having a really hard time trusting a certain someone or certain individuals. And I feel that because you have some trust issues, you're sort of starting to strategize your movements around this person or these people. And I feel that in and of itself is giving mixed signals. Okay. Next, we have the Map Maker of Destiny. So here's what's interesting. I feel that a lot of times when we are not open or truly honest with ourselves about having trust issues, we tend to lose sight of our initial purpose, or we tend to lose sight of the purpose of the relationship in general. The Map Maker of Destiny is really wanting you to understand that there is free will when it comes to relationships, right? Every person gets to decide what they're going to do, right? Every person has their own choices to make in a relationship. And even though we have our own expectations and we have our own desires of how we want certain relationships to go or certain things to flow, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the same or that it's equal for someone else in that situation. So we have to be willing to sort of align ourselves to what we truly want, what we truly desire. So the important thing here is kind of what I'm getting at here is that, are you really being honest with yourself about this relationship? Because are you truly listening? Are you hearing what your guides and what spirit is telling you in regards to this relationship? Are you trying to force something that really truly isn't in alignment? Are you trying to make something happen that ultimately does not feel right to someone else or maybe to you, but you're trying to make it fit, right? So next we have the tribe. This is really interesting because the tribe is all about that inner connection that we have, that connectedness that we have to other individuals. And I feel that, the tribe in and of itself really sort of comes together in times of need, right? They come together to really work together towards a common goal. And there's love, there's adoration, there's respect, there's all of those beautiful things. But I feel that ultimately what's really transpiring here is I just feel that there's a lot of disconnection in this relationship. I feel this is the reason why the whole trust issue sort of came up, because the tribe is all about community. It's about belonging. It's about being seen and being understood and having some like-mindedness. And I feel that it's important that you sort of recognize, the essential qualities that you share with this other person in this relationship. I think it's important that you sort of recognize that and understand that sometimes, other people may have different ideas of what they're truly wanting in a relationship. So it's really about learning to come together as one, and being there as a support for each other. Okay. Next we have, look at this, message in a bottle. So I really feel here for you, Pile One, that your team, your spirit guides have really been trying to get a message out to you. They've really been wanting you to pay attention to the signs, to really listen. And I feel like that's what's actually not happening. Remember that with the lapis lazuli, it was all about that interconnected, like tuning in to that inner consciousness within you so that you can actually receive the wisdom that is coming towards you here, Pile One. I also feel like there's a lot of miscommunication in this relationship. I feel like it's almost like it's two people, two ships sailing in the night in different directions. And I just feel like there's not a lot of camaraderie. There's not a lot of collaboration or communication. I feel like there's a lot of things that are getting left unsaid, unheard in this relationship that is really causing there to be a lot of stress, a lot of distrust. And I feel like it's two people that aren't in unison when it comes to this relationship about what it is they're desiring or what it is they're wanting. I feel that it's important here for you, Pile One, to really sort of tune into yourself, because what I'm picking up here is that there may be a little bit of codependency in this relationship. And it could be that maybe you're so attached to the idea of being in a relationship with this person that you've completely neglected your own authentic self in this relationship. And so you're not really seeing clearly. You're not listening to what your guides are telling you because you're just trying to compromise or conform because you feel in some way that it's going to make you happy. And I can honestly tell you here, Pile One, that by not really listening to your own inner wisdom and your own inner guidance, it is going to lead you down a very destructive path in this relationship that you will not be able to sort of get out of. You're now in a position where you can truly ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Is this relationship providing me with what I'm truly desiring? Is it helping me to learn and grow and trust myself? Because I feel like there's not a lot of trust with yourself. And I feel like that is what ultimately needs to change. So let's get a little bit more here in regards to, look, I love this. Look. The first message we have here is love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Okay, this is the reason why I kept getting that you're not trusting yourself. You don't trust yourself. And this is why I was getting that whole codependency, because I feel like you're really into the idea of the relationship or in the relationship with this particular person that you're losing yourself. And you're not really focusing on your own authenticity of who you are. This is the reason why your guides are really wanting you to put more effort into loving yourself, honoring yourself, respecting yourself, recognizing that what you desire and what you are wanting out of a relationship is valuable and it is worthy of your time to really nurture that, to love that, because it's really about a level of respect here. It's about understanding that, you deserve more than what you are currently receiving. Your next message here is getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So my next question to you here, Pile 1, is, are you truly revealing yourself, your innermost authentic self? Are you allowing yourself to be vulnerable with this person? Are you willing to really shed all of the skeletons and all of the layers of yourself, and can you truly trust to put your own vulnerability in this person's hands? And I feel that this is where true, genuine compassion and unconditional love comes from. It comes from loving yourself at the deepest level and recognizing that regardless of what you discover or what you find, someone who truly, authentically appreciates you and loves you will never do anything to hurt or harm you. They will never throw anything in your face to make you feel worse than what you currently already feel. And I feel that when it comes to relationships, it's so important for us to be honest, to be truthful, and to trust, to have that undeniable trust. So if you don't really truly trust this individual, if you don't really allow yourself to be vulnerable with this individual, then maybe it's time to really rethink this relationship and really ask yourself, what is it that you're getting out of this relationship? Is it helping you to become a more loving and compassionate person? Or is it really sort of making you become dimmer in your own skin and not really showcase who you truly are? And next, we have finances and career. Okay, so this is interesting because I kind of feel like what it's saying is financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. I don't know if this is more like a dynamic of this person is controlling in certain ways. It could be that they are of a higher, stature, or like almost like when it comes to when you look at levels, right? Levels or titles, right? Maybe this individual is really trying to take control or have power over you. And maybe they're trying to manipulate you in a way where they control certain aspects of the relationship. And this is what I call a red flag. This is unhealthy in a relationship. So it's important that you really ask yourself, again, I feel like the biggest question you have to ask yourself is, what are you getting out of this relationship? And is it really what you want? So let's dig into the tarot here, because I feel the tarot is going to give us a lot more insight here, Pile 1. So right off the bat, we have the Lovers card. Okay. The Lovers, make choices from your heart, deeply emotional commitments, the power of love. So here's what's interesting. I feel that maybe when you met this particular individual, it felt like an instant connection. It felt like you were being drawn into this connection and you felt like it was the one, it was destiny, it was meant to happen. But again, the one thing about the Lovers that a lot of people don't ever really reference is that the Lovers is all about following your heart. I think a lot of times when people see the Lovers card automatically in a tarot card, in the tarot deck, they automatically are like, oh my God, it's fate, it's destiny. Not necessarily. It's about you truly tuning into the wisdom of your own heart and following the guidance of your own heart. And understanding that every experience that you have, every encounter that you have with someone is meant to teach you something, right? And maybe this particular individual in your life here, Pile One, is meant to teach you how to love yourself, to remember that you come first, to understand that what you desire, what you have to say is of value and it is worth loving and honoring, right? And I feel that when you truly commit to someone from the true, genuine heart, there is never any guilt. There is never any shame. There is never any neglect, right? Everyone is going to have issues when it comes to relationships. You know, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes work and dedication in relationships to make them thrive. But I feel for you here, it's important that you make a choice from your heart. Truly ask yourself here, Pile One, is this what you truly want? Is this the love that you have ultimately wanted for your entire life? Is this exactly what it looks like? Is this what it feels like? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you want more? Or is it making you, crowd into yourself? Is it making you feel shame? Is it making you feel guilt? Next, we have the 7 of Raphael, and it says, time to make a decision. Be clear on what you want and take action. A need for detoxification. Okay, the 7 of Raphael. So Raphael is all about healing, right? And the 7 of Raphael is referencing the 7 of Cups here. And the 7 of Cups is remembering that we're going to be given many opportunities, many choices in our life that we have to ultimately decide. And yes, I think some of those opportunities and some of those options they look a lot more desirable than others, right? I feel that a lot of times for some reason, they're making me say this. I think a lot of times when we get into a relationship with someone, and we get into a relationship with someone because we are innately sexually attracted to the person, but we truly don't know what their heart is like. Sometimes that can be a little bit misleading. And I feel that a lot of times, it is the individual that we get to know from the heart, right? The getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens, right? So I can tell you from my own personal experience that I can look at someone and find someone attractive, but the moment that I get to know their true self, when their true self reveals themselves, they can become the most ugliest person to me ever. They could look good, but they could probably have the worst attitude, the worst heart, the worst demeanor, and it's a complete turnoff, right? So I feel in this case, they're wanting you to really decide for yourself, what do you want? And I think I've said this multiple times here, Pile One. What is it exactly that you want for a relationship? And I feel that that's where you need to start. And I feel it needs to come from your own authentic self. It needs to come from deep within yourself, because that is where you are going to get the truth. That is where you are going to have the most honest trust, right? Next, we have divine guidance. So this is saying the search for meaning in life. Consider an alternative approach. Surround yourself with wise teachers or friends. Okay, so when it comes to a relationship, what it's really wanting you to be aware of here, Pile One, is that you need to really tune in to your inner guidance, right? And understand that I think a lot of times people will often say that when they're in a bad relationship, or they tend to regret being in that relationship, right? Because they feel that was time wasted. Nothing is ever a waste. You should never regret anything, because everything that we encounter in our lives prepares us for the next step. It prepares us for what is to come. It teaches us how to be stronger, how to be more compassionate, how to be more understanding. It teaches us how to love ourselves, how to trust ourselves, how to listen for the signs and the red flags. Okay. So in this particular aspect, they're really wanting you to just sort of take a step back and really evaluate the relationship or the current situation that you're in. I feel a lot of times people don't really call them relationships anymore. They call them situationships because that's really what they are. It's the uncertainty that we often feel in a situation, and we're having to really figure out what's our next step. What am I supposed to do? And you might be really confused on what you need to do. You might even be confused on what you're calling this. But the reality here is that you have to be able to tune into your inner guidance system, because that is where you're going to get the truth. It will never lie to you. Next, you have the page of Ariel, and this says, an excellent opportunity will be offered to you, scholarships or the pursuit of education, and time to get to work. Okay, I feel in this particular aspect, what this is saying is this page of Ariel is really the page of Pentacles. And I feel that this is where you're really needing to sort of be a little bit more practical with yourself, and recognize what are the assets that you currently have that you're bringing into the relationship, understanding that you're reliable in this relationship. I also kind of feel like maybe the person that you're in a relationship with here is not as educated in love or relationships as you are. They could be someone that's younger. They might not have had a lot of experience with the relationships. So they don't really have, that data bank that you do on what things look like or what they should feel like, right? And so maybe you both are learning how to be more authentic in this particular type of relationship. I feel that whatever decision you make here, pile one, the decision to really educate yourself, and I feel this is educating yourself more on you, right? Being more clear and defined on who you are and what it is that you want. And I feel that once you get that clarity, once you understand that, there will be no doubt on what your next step is, because your last card is Epiphany. And what it's saying is joy through spiritual growth, be a light to others, and answers that come through meditation. I feel that once you are clear about what kind of a relationship you want, what it looks like, what it makes you feel like, what you're ultimately desiring, and you love yourself from a place of pure unconditional love, you will know exactly what your next step is. You'll know exactly what it is that you're looking for. And you won't waste your time on situationships. You won't waste your time on relationships that don't add value to your life. Okay. So next we have the Angel of Travel with the Angel of Clairaudience. Okay, this is really interesting. So these cards, when I was really planning on what I was going to, what pick a card I was going to do this time, these cards sort of just stood out to me, and it was more along the lines of certain specific angels that you can call upon for guidance. So number one, the Angel of Clairaudience is coming forward because they're wanting you to be aware of the messages that they're giving you. So these could be whispers, right? These could be things that you often hear. I feel it's going to be really important for you here, pile one, to really meditate, really again, take that step back, reflect on, what it is that you're really desiring, and allow those messages to come to you by things that you hear. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Next is the angel of travel. So I feel like what this is saying is you could be having some travel come up for you here, pile one, and just know that your angel of travel is going to be with you as you go through your travels. But I also feel that what this is really saying, and it's kind of interesting how they're actually giving me this message. When we go out and we travel, we're very curious, we're spontaneous, we allow ourselves to just be open to whatever transpires, right? It's almost like those of us that often say, you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? I feel that what this is really wanting you to be aware of here is that you need to allow yourself to be a little bit spontaneous, a little bit open. Be curious about what you discover and what you find, and be willing to explore the depths of yourself and of your experiences, because that is where you're going to find treasure. That is where you're going to find the golden nuggets. Now, these next few cards are really cards that come from the Love Oracle that are really going to speak about the current relationship that you're in or the situationship that you're in. So number one, we have mirror. Okay. I want you to understand here, pile one, that mirror is about your self-image. It's about reflection. Relationships reflect our wounds, right? It's about a needing to take a step back and to do that introspection, because recognize that whenever we're in a situationship or we're in a relationship, we are literally mirroring to each other all of the wounds or things that we have not come to terms with yet. All of that is being reflected back at you. So again, it's pointing to you. It's pointing to you needing to really look within yourself. Okay. Next, we have clock, which is need time, takes time, in time cycles, time to heal, and progress. So I feel that what this is saying is that maybe instead of trying to jump into a situation or a relationship, you need to take some time for yourself. You need to really love on yourself. And I feel a lot of times people really jump into relationships very quickly. They don't really get to know each other. So you need to take time for yourself to really love yourself, to really get to know yourself. I feel it's also important for you to take things slow when it comes to a relationship. This isn't about jumping right into the bandwagon and then moving, full steam ahead. You have to feed the fire. You have to feed the flame. You have to get to know each other. So this is all about, understanding that there isn't a time clock when it comes to relationships. Sometimes things just happen when they happen. It's about not forcing things to happen. And last but not least, we have abundance. So when it comes to relationships, it's important for you to keep a very positive mindset. It's about making sure that you're very clear about what you want so that you can manifest exactly what you want. It's about being in a state of gratitude and bliss and understanding that in this relationship or situationship that you are in here, pile one, if it is not making you feel good about yourself or the situation, then it is not a healthy relationship for you. That might be your biggest clue right here, that this might be something you might need to let go so that you could truly work on yourself to, feel confident with yourself and be able to stand tall and declare exactly what it is that you want out of a relationship. So pile one, this is your message. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time with your new message. Bye, guys. Hi, pile two. Welcome to your pick a card on what you need to know about your current love life. So pile two, you chose this beautiful, transformational Moldavite. And that in and of itself tells me that I feel like you are in this type of relationship here that, or a situationship that is really sort of either really stagnant and you're wanting some change, or you've just gotten out of a breakup and now you're sort of reinventing yourself. So the main message of Moldavite is about transformation. It's about rebirth through fire. It's about initiation and opening to new experiences, revitalization and renewal. I am going to read you what it says in the book about this beautiful transformational Moldavite because it has a specific message in regards to relationships. So it says, as you transition to a new you will become part of a new group of people, for you are having new experiences that differ from those that came before. Old friends will be there for you, but new ones will appear, drawn to your vibration, which resonates with theirs. Although you are being initiated into a new experience, you will not be alone. So leave your fears at the door. Your community will find you and you will know that you belong as they embrace you as one of their own. You will feel the love as you adjust to your new role, confident in the potential of those you care about coming along with you. Encourage them to believe that they too can let go of the past and transition into something better. So PileTwo. I don't know why, but I just feel that this is my pile of those of you who have broken up and are sort of now embarking on a new adventure or journey towards new experiences, and maybe not so much relationships, right? Like steady romantic relationships. This could be, you know, maybe you are embarking on a new journey of self-discovery and self-love for yourself. And there are new individuals that are going to be coming into your life here that you're wanting guidance on so that you don't repeat the same patterns, make the same mistakes as you once did in the past. So right off the bat, we are starting off with the High Lady of Love and Compassion. This is about kindness. It's about being considerate, and it's about reverence. It's about holding space for yourself, to be loving and compassionate towards others, to never really placing judgment upon others or making others pay for someone else's mistakes. I don't know why, but that's just what kind of came up in the moment. And I feel that it's important that you sort of hold space. I feel right now you are holding space for yourself, and you're sort of looking at your past relationship in a very loving, compassionate way, almost like recognizing the value that it had, what it really offered you, and what it really provided you in regards to experiences and lessons. Next, we have the Metal King. This is about discipline, armor, boundaries. Okay, so this is definitely about a past relationship that sort of left you in a place where you really felt defensive. You felt like you had to create this sort of armor around yourself, and you had to be very disciplined with yourself moving forward because you felt like there were no boundaries in that relationship. And I feel that this is the reason why you're now taking this stance. It's almost as if you're now in this place here, PileTwo, where you are sweet, you are loving, you are kind, but you have boundaries. And you're very clear about those boundaries. And you want to make sure that you stick to those boundaries because you might be the type of person that you could easily slip into old habits, old patterns, as we once discussed. So I feel that in this aspect of where you are, you're trying to find the balance, I believe, from this loving, kind, compassionate place, but also being armored enough to be disciplined and say, you know what, I have boundaries and I have to adhere to these boundaries. And it's interesting because I don't feel as if it's boundaries necessarily for others. It's more boundaries for yourself. You've established boundaries for yourself that you feel you need to keep in place. Otherwise, you could literally slip back into old habits and old patterns. Next, we have time for a nap. Okay, this is interesting because I feel like right now you're in a rest period when it comes to relationships, and you're embracing this rest period as a time to just sort of reflect and recollect and sort of heal those aspects, like regenerate yourself, the parts of you that needed to be healed and that needed to get the rest. Because I feel like as of right now, you're not really in a hurry. And I feel that this is a good thing because Moldavite is such a transformative stone in and of itself that it really transforms when you adhere fire to it. It's a hard stone, right? And so you really, in order for it to really mold into something else or take shape, it requires fire in order to do that. And I feel that right now, you need to sort of just be in a place where you can just sort of rest and reflect. It's not really about, making decisions at this time. It's really just about rejuvenating and renewing yourself, right? Allowing yourself to just dream about what it is that you're really desiring and what it is that you ultimately really want out of a relationship. This is a good place to be here, PileTwo. Next, we have truth be told. Okay, this is interesting because I feel that when you come out of a relationship, I feel like there's a lot of things that often get revealed to you when you're no longer in that space of being, oh, I'm so in love. Like, I think that truth finally settles in. Right? And I feel like you're now really needing to just be honest and truthful with yourself in regards to this past relationship. I feel like there's something in this experience in and of itself that I feel that really sort of became an aha moment for you that really wanted you to really explore the depths of it and to just sort of release that and be free. It's about also accepting things at face value. And I feel like you doing that, you're willing to be transparent and have that sense of clarity in communication when you actually communicate with other individuals about where you currently stand in regards to a relationship. I feel that right now you're just airing things out. You're just allowing things to be what they are, and you're not really sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I feel that because you have these boundaries set in place, you're very honest and very transparent about where you are in regards to your relationships. And you're just being very, I don't know how else to say it other than very clear. It's like you're making sure that people are very aware of where you stand. And I commend that because I feel a lot of times people don't do that, especially when they just come out of a relationship. But I feel you're really loving on yourself. I feel like you're really being very nurturing towards yourself because I feel like you're really you're having to really learn and really just evaluate things in this relationship. Now, we're going to move on to some romance angel cards. Because I want to see if this is going to just sort of build a little bit more of the story here for you. So, number one, we have honeymoon. Okay. Now, this is interesting because I feel that this was a relationship for you here, PileTwo, that felt so real to the point that you were just so caught up in the bliss of the togetherness. Right? The bliss of being in a relationship, and everything just felt so good. And it was so much that it sort of overwhelmed you in a sense where you felt like, oh my God, this could be the one. And lo and behold, right here, this could be the one, right? I feel like this relationship just was so exhilarating and so exciting and so passionate for you that you were like, oh my God. And there was so much attraction in this relationship that everything moved very quickly, very rapidly. And I feel that there wasn't enough time in this relationship for the two of you to really sort of separate all of the bliss and the harm and the excitement and the passion that was there for the two of you to really decide for yourselves, is this really what I want? Does this feel okay to me, right? Because it's interesting because I feel a lot of times we often feel that when we feel those butterflies, when we feel that excitement, when we feel that exhilaration, we automatically get a sense instantaneously because our body is being filled up with all of these endorphins that we're like, oh my God, this is a good thing. But then as time goes on, we start to see things, we start to witness things, we start to just sort of compromise ourselves. We start to ignore certain things, right? And so we're so caught up in the way that we feel that we're not really tuning into what that feeling is ultimately saying to us, okay? And next we have soulmate. Okay, so there is no doubt in my mind here, PileTwo, that this individual was actually a soulmate for you, but here's the thing. Not every soulmate is meant to be romantic, and not every soulmate is going to stick with you to the end. It's important that you learn to identify within yourself. It's important that you understand how you feel in your body when you are connecting with another individual. Everything is energy here, PileTwo. And I feel that you recognized in this relationship that it wasn't a really good fit for you. I feel that you value this person. You do feel like they contributed to something important and valuable to you, but you recognized that, and maybe the both of you recognized that, you know what, this isn't what we truly want. And maybe this really isn't a good fit. And that's perfectly okay. But I feel that the most important thing when it comes to this is that you have to be within your own self. You have to be within your own body and trust your own instincts to know if this is a good fit for you or not. The other thing that they kept showing me, because I mentioned earlier about Moldavite transforming with fire. So fire is all about passion, right? And this could have been such a passionate relationship that it literally molded into something that grew out of control for the both of you. And maybe that's the reason why the two of you decided to just split ways, right? To separate. Let's look at the tarot and get a little bit more insight here, PileTwo. Okay, so right away we have the Five of Michael, which is the Five of Swords. So it says, this situation doesn't serve you. Release your attachment to the outcome and consider taking a more uplifting approach. So yes, so this is why there was a separation, because the two of you, I feel you both recognize that this relationship was just too out of control. It wasn't really going in the way that you wanted it to. And maybe one of you had a specific ideal of what you wanted it to look like or be like, and it just didn't meet that expectation, right? And I feel that what you're needing to do right now is let it go. Just completely let it go. Don't harbor any guilt. Don't harbor any resentment or anger. Like, you're just needing to sort of cut that all out and let it go, because there's something better for you, right? Again, if you can come at it from a place of kindness, reverence, and compassion here, you'll be able to see what purpose it served in your life, okay? Next, we have the Queen of Raphael. This is about following your heart. It says, a love of home and family, trustworthy psychic information. So the Queen of Raphael is the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Cups is all about following her heart, trusting her gut instincts, knowing without a shadow of a doubt that she is being led from a heart-centered place. And I feel that when you really come into a relationship and you start really seeing things and you start really listening to your own internal guidance system, then you know right away things have to change, okay? Next, we have the Magician. I love this because it's saying you can manifest the life you want. You can manifest the love life that you want. What you need will magically appear, successful beginnings. So I think that by separating here, PileTwo, you have now opened up a door where you are you're now starting to understand what it is exactly you're wanting a relationship to look like, how you're wanting it to make you feel, and what you are truly wanting to experience in this relationship. And I feel this is ultimately what is going to magically appear for you. Again, it's not about forcing it to happen. It's just allowing it to happen when it happens. Next, you have the Empress. Love this, the Magician with the Empress, right? So the Empress is all about a time to act on your plans. It's about creativity, and it's about luxurious and abundant resources. I'm going to tell you right now that the Empress here is really reflecting that divine feminine energy of allowing yourself to receive. And I feel in this aspect, it's about you receiving the love, the understanding, the kindness, the unconditional reverence that you deserve for yourself here, PileTwo. So I feel that in this aspect with this divine feminine energy here, you're just allowing yourself to be open to what is. And I feel that is a beautiful place to be when it comes to relationships. Next, we have the Eight of Michael, and this is the Eight of Swords, right? So it's wanting you to understand that the relationship that you were in, it made you feel very constricted. It made you feel like you were bound to experiencing things or experiencing relationships in certain specific ways. The Eight of Michael is really wanting you to know that you can be free. You can make a courageous choice to change your situation and not see things clearly. So again, whatever perception you have in your mind about this relationship that you've parted from, you need to change that perception, because understand that how you think about that and what you're carrying in your mind is ultimately keeping you bound to experiencing those same kinds of experiences. And that's not ultimately what you want. You want to transform your life and your mind and your experiences when it comes to relationships. Okay. Now, PileTwo. Next, we have the Angel of Stress and the Angel of Detoxification. Okay. Now, this clearly showing me here, PileTwo, that the reason this relationship transpired the way that it did was because it was very toxic for you. In a lot of ways, it could have been toxic in a very mental way, right? Where there was just a lot of preconceived ideas of, or maybe someone had certain expectations of this relationship, and it created a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety in both parties. And it was just better for the both of you to just sort of part ways, to just sort of detach, because again, I felt like maybe it started out so strong, and I just keep getting that image in my mind here, PileTwo, that there was so much passion and it started so strong that it just became so overwhelming to the point that it grew out of control, almost like a fire that just burns out of control to the point that everything burns to the ground. And that's not the kind of relationship that you ultimately want to be in. So next we have Photograph, which is looking at your photos, missing you, nostalgia, and making new memories. Okay, I feel that maybe it's a little bit harder for you right now to just sort of let go because maybe you're reminiscing, right? Or maybe this person is still trying to get in contact with you. But I feel that you have to cut all ties in order for you to make a clean slate and start completely over. So be aware that, you have to be able to sever that connection. You have to detach from that connection in order to fully move forward. Next, we have I like you, right? So again, I feel that this relationship was really a very passionate relationship where there was just so much so quickly that it just sort of boiled out of control. And last but not least, we have hammer, which is sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it, right? So I feel like you're working on yourself here, PileTwo. I feel that you're working on yourself in a more loving and kind way that is sort of just rebuilding that which has broken down. And the more love and attention that you put into that, the more you will be able to break free from the bondage that you felt that you had or the attachment that you had with this specific individual so that you could truly transform your mind and your life and your experiences in future relationships. So PileTwo, this is your message. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time with your new message. Bye, guys. Hi, PileThree. Welcome to your pick a card on what you need to know about your love life. So you have chosen the wonderful selenite stone, and I can tell you that from my own personal experience, selenite is a clearing stone. It is a very, very high frequency stone that I currently utilize to either clear my space, to clear my cards, my decks. But it is a very powerful stone. So the main message with selenite here is that it is very flexible. It provides great illumination, clarity, and it helps raise your vibration. I am going to read you what it says in the book because this particular deck of cards has a specific message when it comes to relationships. So PileThree, your message, starting off with selenite, is that relationships offer us the opportunity to deepen our love and trust and to experience personal transformation. Because wanting to make a relationship work can be the key to releasing your beliefs about how the other person ought to act and how very right you are at all times. Selenite spirit calls you to bring your light and shine it on your truth. Be more flexible so that even when obstacles seem to be blocking you from love, you recognize your ability to become fluid and move around them. The conscious universe wants you to have the relationship you desire. You are called to raise your vibration and put energy into what you do want instead of what you don't want. Look at the other person from another angle. Try to understand their point of view. The movement can shift everything and help them see you differently too. The magic of love is that it can take many forms, all of which can help us heal the old patterns that keep us stuck and unable to move forward into our purpose. Isn't love marvelous? So PileThree, I feel that overall we are starting out where I feel that your spirit team really wants you to become aware of what your perception is of relationships, maybe this particular relationship that you're in. And it's wanting you to be a little bit more flexible, adaptable, understanding that relationships are fluid. They transform and they mold into different stages and different forms throughout time. So it's really about you sort of raising your standards, maybe raising your beliefs, being very clear about what it is that you want and not focus so much on what's not going well in the relationship or what you don't want. So PileThree, this is a great message so far. So PileThree, let's see what else we have. So starting off, we have the Desert Prince, which is talking about survival and false promises. So sort of what I'm picking up right here, when it comes to the relationship that you're currently in, PileThree, is that I feel that this relationship sort of made you feel like you had to work really, really hard. I feel like maybe there were a lot of promises that were made by the other individual, and I feel like those promises just never came to fulfillment. It almost felt like you were really having to really work hard, and it could have been that it was a very imbalanced relationship. Maybe one person was giving more than the other, but I really feel that this made you feel like you wanted more, like there was more that you wanted or anticipated out of this relationship, and it just never came to that. And that can be kind of hurtful in a lot of ways here, PileThree. Next, we have the resting tree, which is about patience and stillness. So interestingly enough, with the selenite about, flexibility and fluidity when it comes to a relationship, I feel the most fluid thing that you could possibly have in a relationship is communication. If there is a lack of communication when it comes to a relationship, then there's a lot of things that can get left unsaid. There's a lot of promises that would not be made. Maybe there's a lot of, things that just would never come to fruition because there isn't any form of consistency in this particular type of relationship. I feel that now in this relationship, and I kind of feel like it's kind of half and half. I kind of feel like some of you have really sort of broken off this relationship and others of you are contemplating that. And I feel that what Spirit is really wanting you to do is to be very still at this moment. It's really wanting you to be patient and to really reflect on what it is that you truly desire. Remember that the main message with selenite was to constantly, to be aware and focus your attention on what you want and not on what you don't want. So I feel that the important thing for you here, PileThree, is that if you're already feeling as if this relationship isn't going to fulfill you in any way, or it isn't going to, provide you with what you are ultimately desiring, then this is something that you ultimately have to walk away from. If it's leaving you hungry for more and it's making you feel like you're constantly having to survive, or put more energy into it and the other person isn't contributing, then why are you continuing to force something that isn't fluid, right? Because I feel like you're trying to make something happen that isn't naturally occurring. And I feel that's ultimately important for you to know. Next, we have to be fair. Okay, yes. So you're needing to have some equality. You need some balance in this relationship. And I feel like it's the relationship dynamic in this particular pile is very unbalanced. I feel like there is one person that is contributing more than the other, and it's making the other person feel like, I feel like you're not filling my cup. I feel like I'm just constantly depleting myself to the point that I'm drowned, that I'm starving, or that I'm starving for attention, right? And I just feel that it's not balanced. And I feel that intuitively, you know this. You know that you're not getting what you deserve in this relationship, but you're still trying to make it work. But you have to remember that trying to force something to happen isn't necessarily going to give you exactly what it is that you want. If anything, it's going to sort of make things look different or appear different or work out very differently. Okay. Next, you have serendipity. Okay. Here's what I find very interesting here, Pile 3, with you, is that, the to be fair is all about, the balance that we all, desire in a relationship, right? It has to be 50-50 in a relationship. It has to be an equal give and take, right? And I feel that, when one person is more into the relationship than the other, then things are not balanced, right? So then you'll have one person who's getting everything and one person that is getting nothing, right? And that tends to wreak havoc on your own perceptions or beliefs, right? With serendipity is all about opportunity, and it's about the awareness of synchronicity, okay? Now, when it comes to relationships, it's important that you recognize that spirit always has a plan. And a plan is always in place. It's always in front of you, right? And it's always in front of the right person at the right time. So again, I feel like if you're trying to force something to happen, or if you're trying to make something fit and it's not the right person, it's not the right time, it's not the right fit, then it isn't going to fit. Now, there is a movie that I absolutely love that I watch every Christmas, and it's called The Holiday. And in this movie, there is one main actress, her name is Iris, who says, square peg, round hole, right? So if you're constantly trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, it isn't going to fit because it's not the right place, it's not the right fit, and it's not the right time. So I feel that in this perspective, you're really needing to, take a step back. Remember, with the resting tree, it's about stillness, it's about patience, understanding that maybe this relationship isn't the right one for you. Maybe it's not time for you to be in the right relationship right now. Maybe there's something that you're missing. Maybe there's something that you need to currently work on, that you need to be a little bit more fluid about. Maybe you're needing to sort of drop any preconceived perceptions about relationships. Like if you've been hurt in the past and you're carrying on all of that pain, then that isn't going to help you see things from a loving perspective, right? You're having to let go of that non-judgment. You're having to sort of recognize the signs as they come, or recognize what spirit is actually trying to tell you, okay? So let's get a little bit more information. So here we have separation, okay? So time apart from your partner is on the horizon. So as I said, I felt like with this pile, it was sort of 50-50. Some of you have already separated and some of you are really contemplating the separation. And I want you to understand that what spirit is really wanting you to know, that again, if you notice in this relationship that it's not fitting, if it's a square peg in a round hole, then understanding that you two separate so that you can understand where each one of you is coming from separately, to have a better idea, have better understanding and clarity about what it is you are desiring, what it is you ultimately want, then separation is where it needs to go. I feel that you have to be able to truly see yourselves apart from this other individual, because I think a lot of times when we try to make things work, when we try to make things fit, then that leads to codependent relationships. It leads to codependency, and that's not a healthy way of being in a relationship, okay? Next we have flirt. So I feel that what spirit is really wanting you to do, because here's what's interesting. You have flirt and then you have attraction, okay? So spirit is saying, if you already have in your mind this belief about what relationships really are, if you already believe that you're going to find someone that isn't going to love you, that isn't going to give to you the way that you give to them, whatever you believe about relationships, you will experience that, right? You have to remember here, Pile3, that you need to be aware of what kind of attraction, what you are attracting, okay? With the flirt, this is about being lighthearted, right? You have to be lighthearted when it comes to relationships. So even if you've separated from someone and you already have this preconceived idea that, men are evil, or that, they're all cheaters, or they're womenizers, whatever beliefs or perceptions you have, that is what you are going to attract. So you have to learn to be lighthearted when it comes to meeting individuals. If you're wanting to be in a relationship, you have to ask yourself, why? Why am I wanting to be in a relationship? What do I believe about relationships? What are my experiences with the relationships? And what am I attracting? Okay. With the attraction card, it says you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. So I feel that what this is really saying is that when you are clear about what it is you are wanting to experience in a relationship and what you feel a relationship means to you and what it looks like to you, I feel that you will be giving more of that to yourself, and you'll be able to then attract more of that to yourself. I feel like overall, this relationship is very unbalanced. There wasn't a lot of consistency. There wasn't a lot of solid communication in this relationship either. And I feel that you had one person that was all in and one that was just in it partially. And when you have that, it isn't going to be a very stable relationship. So moving on here, pile 3, we have the 7 of Michael. Now, the 7 of Michael is the 7 of Swords. So it says, there is a better course of action available to you. Working alone may not be the best answer. Review all of the details. So what this is saying is that you're needing to rely on your higher guidance. You're needing to rely on your guides. Really listen to your heart. Let your heart guide you when making decisions. Don't make decisions based off of your thoughts, because remember, the more that you feed into your thoughts, the more you end up feeding into fear and anxiety and stress. And that's not what you're ultimately wanting to create. So I feel that with this is really about, being clear of what kind of thoughts and beliefs that you have about relationships or this particular relationship, and clearing that out. Because the more that you clear that out, the easier it's going to be for you to see, the easier it will be for you to recognize the types of individuals and relationships that you are ultimately attracting into your life. Next, we have new beginnings. So this is starting a new life, right? So I feel that a lot of you are contemplating the idea of starting fresh, starting new, right? And a lot of you are already on this new path, this new journey where you're finding your purpose. The important thing with a new beginning is that it is a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. So again, it's not taking a stance that your relationship was evil or that it was awful, right? You can have that perception of it, but remember, what did it teach you? What valuable things did you attain from that experience? I think you have to really look at it from that perspective, because that is going to help you transition your perception of future relationships. Next, we have the Queen of Michael. Yes, this is being self-reliant. Trusting in your own instincts, being insightful, right? You know exactly what it is that you need to do. So for those of you that are really contemplating on letting this relationship go, Spirit is really giving you the okay here. They're letting you know, it's okay to let this go, because you're not getting anything of value. It's not fulfilling you in any way, and it's not serving you in any way. And it's saying the benefit of experience, a time for your career rather than relationships. So you have to really look at this as a career move, right? If you're not happy in your job, then what would you do? You would ultimately look for another job and move, right? Then why are you sticking around in a relationship that isn't providing for you in the way that you ultimately desire? So that's an important question you have to ask yourself here, pile 3. Next, we have the 9 of Ariel. Now it says, your dreams are fulfilled. So the 9 of Ariel is really about hard work, right? Understanding that sometimes you have to make hard choices. You have to make hard decisions in order to take a path towards success. I feel that it's important for you to recognize that your desires and that which you are wanting in a relationship has value, it has purpose, it is worthy. And I feel that when you can see it from that perspective, you would be more willing to make the hard choices and the hard decisions, even if it means, going through a time and a period of self-reflection. Okay. And last but not least, you have the Chariot. So this is about determination and self-control, and it's about acknowledgement. And I feel that for those of you that are really thinking about separating in this relationship, I feel that this is something that's going to happen very quickly. And I can't even, I can tell you that I feel like it's going to happen one way or another, whether you choose to make that choice now and be proactive about it, or it will just happen naturally. Because I just feel like many of you are very dissatisfied. You feel like you're lacking something in this relationship, and it's not really feeding you or your desires in any way. So next we have the Angel of White Light. I absolutely love this, with the Angel of Romance. Okay, maybe some of you really feel like romance is just not in the cards for you. And I want to point out here for you, Pile3, that if you honestly believe that, then you will witness that in your everyday experiences. You will continue to meet people that do not fulfill you. You will continue to meet people that will make you feel like you're not worthy, you have no value. That which you believe, you will experience. So it's important for you to really ask yourself, do I love myself enough? Do I give myself enough self-love, confidence, and encouragement to know that I am worthy of that which I desire? And the Angel of White Light, I just feel like right now you are really being supported and protected by your guides and your angels, even some of you, your ancestors that are really there. They're giving you the signs and the symbols that you need to recognize where you are. But some of you just need to actually take that action. You need to actually just move forward. And I feel some of you are just sort of waiting around, and I feel like maybe you needed a confirmation, and maybe this is your confirmation. So first we have not today. Now this is not dealing, right? So some of you are avoiding having a conversation with this other person. Some of you are hurt. Some of you are angry. And some of you are, not setting appropriate boundaries when it comes to this relationship. And I feel that this is important, right? When you have the Queen of Swords here with this Queen of Michael, it's really about being self-reliant, being insightful, understanding. If you know that you have to have a conversation, you have to set boundaries, and you have to deal with what is going on, then that is something that you ultimately need to do here. Next, we have the Runner. Okay, now this is interesting because this is about a codependent relationship. And it's for some people, I feel like the person that is not really giving in this relationship is the Runner here, right? They might have a fear of intimacy. They might be listening to their ego. They might be all in their head. They're not really in their heart or in their body in any way. And I feel like, you might be giving in this relationship, but this person is trying to pull away, and you're not letting them completely pull away, because I feel like you're fully attached in this relationship, and it's something you need to ultimately let go. Next, we have Axe, which is about a breakup and a separation. It's about stopping the pattern, and it's about a sense of abandonment. So again, I feel that overall with this pile, this is really about you letting transformation, letting things unfold the way they are meant to. Stop trying to make it fit. Stop trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Because I feel like for those of you, the moment that you cut off this relationship, the moment that you let go, you detach from the current situation and the person, I feel that you will actually start to transform. You will become more objective. You will learn a lot more about yourself. You will enter into a new phase of relationships, and you'll be able to then have the kind of experiences that you ultimately want. So PileThree, this is your message. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time with your new message. Bye, guys. Hi, Pile4. Welcome to your pick a card on what you need to know about your current love life. So we are starting out with pink sapphire. This is the beautiful stone that you chose for this pick a card. Now, the essence and the meaning of pink sapphire is all about forgiveness. It's about choosing to heal, to accept and let go of the situation, the relationship, whatever is transpiring in your current day-to-day here. Now, I am going to read you what it says in the book because this particular deck of cards does have a specific meaning when it pertains to relationships. So Pile4. The pink sapphire represents, its message is, embrace your power for healing now. And that means turning inward instead of concerning yourself with others at this time. Let go of any urge to go over all that went wrong or to relive the past. You deserve to feel joy, confidence, and faith. To do so, you must let go of the old stories and release the pain that is no longer serving you. Sometimes it lingers, so if you feel it coming up, let yourself experience it on its way out of you. Have a good cry, vent, get all that energy out of you, and then feel yourself filling up with the love and acceptance that you deserve, coming to you courtesy of the love bearer, the conscious universe. Pink Sapphire Spirit is here to remind you that you are all you need to be. You are whole and beautiful, and the conscious universe knows how very strong you are. Now, Pile4, this is an absolutely beautiful message, and I love that you have chosen this particular message because I feel like many of you that have chosen this pile might have gone through many tumultuous relationships, lots of ups and downs. Now, this was really about the love life, but I feel like this is relationships in a whole for you. And I feel that's for all of the piles. So I do feel that for you, this is really about learning to just let go. And I love the part about letting go of the old stories because I feel a lot of times we tend to be very biased based off of our old experiences, especially when it pertains to relationships. And I feel that if you continue to feed yourself that old story, you will naturally become to believe it, and it will become a part of your experience over and over and over again. So let's move on to forgiveness here. So we are starting out with the camel boy, right? So how do we move on to forgiveness? We take small steps. We learn to ask for help. And in this case, it's about you calling on the actual help that you need. Maybe some of you need therapy. Maybe some of you need to actually talk to someone, a relationship coach or a relationship, counselor. Whatever it is, you need to take small steps towards letting go, towards changing that old story, the old verbiage about, moving on and just forgiving what transpired in that relationship. I feel that, just by taking, it's not small steps, you'll learn to see that those small steps will eventually move into much larger steps. Next, we have the winged wise one. So this is about angelic help. So not only do you need personal help, maybe this is friends, family that you can rely on that can be there to listen, to lend a listening ear, right? But you also have your guides, you have your angels that are there to provide you with miraculous aid, that will provide you with what you need You know, maybe you need to feel like you are protected or that you are loved. And your guides and angels are there to provide that for you. You simply need to ask. That's all that is required. Now, next we have co-create. And I feel this is very interesting because co-create is all about learning to trust in spirit, learning to trust and be willing to work hand in hand with spirit on, you know, what is going to transpire in this relationship. And I feel that if you have a lot of pain associated with a past relationship, and you're currently dealing with letting that go and moving on to forgiveness, then what you ultimately need to do is understand that you have to be able to work hand in hand with others in order to create the life or the relationship that you ultimately desire. Now, with this particular card, when it pertains to relationships, it talks about connections of the heart serving to inspire you, right? So it's about opening you up to new ideas that you would never have come to on your own. So again, it's about building that sense of connection with others, learning to take those small steps towards others that will ultimately help you be a little bit more open to connection, creativity, and building, right? And I feel that when you can be open and you can reflect on yourself and on the experience of the relationship, then you will be able to see yourself in unexpected ways. You'll be able to just see or understand things in a different way than what you might have experienced. Okay. Next we have blessed. Okay. Now I'm gonna, it did come out reversed. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't read these in reverse because they are oracle cards. So it did come out reversed. So here's what I am gonna say though about the blessed card, because the blessed card is really that sense of knowing that you are grateful, right? And I feel like that old story that you have been telling yourself here, Pile 4, maybe doesn't put you in the light of being grateful or being gracious. I feel like you're looking at the relationship as this was terrible and this is the reason why I am the way that I am, or this is why I constantly experience yada, 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 right? The thing with a blessed card is that you have to be open to something unforeseen, right? And I feel that when you are open to experiencing things in unexpected ways is when you will ultimately start to see the miracle and the blessings that are surrounding you at that time. But if you're constantly telling yourself the old story of how your relationship went wrong and how things didn't work out, and that is your belief, then you're not going to see the blessings and you're going to miss them altogether entirely. And I feel that because it did come out reversed, I feel like you're just looking at it from one point of view. And I feel like you're needing to just sort of broaden your horizons a little bit to see things a little bit differently, so that you can actually see the blessings. You can see what the value or the purpose was of that relationship. So let's dig a little bit deeper, okay? So I feel like in this particular relationship here, Pile 4, there were a lot of romantic feelings in this relationship. And I feel that it came from both places, right? It came from both of you. It wasn't just a one-sided type of a deal. I feel that there was a lot of passion in this relationship where you completely allowed your heart and your soul to sing with joy in this relationship. But I also feel like you recognized right away that it wasn't the type of relationship that you wanted. I feel like you knew, but you did nothing about it, right? And so that's why it turned out the way that it did, because you weren't in tune with yourself. You weren't listening to your internal guidance system. I do feel that you are now at the point where you want to call in the one. You want to call in your soulmate. And I feel like, if you've been asking your spirit team for that, the signs, or this, if you've been asking them to show you, when is it going to happen? They want you to know that they've heard you, but they also want you to be aware that maybe right now is not the time. Maybe there's still some healing that needs to take place with you, because you got the pink sapphire card, which is all about forgiveness. So I feel like there's still a little bit of anger, animosity, pain, hurt that you are still holding on to, that is sort of hindering you from moving into the next step, right? Because again, if they bring in someone who is ready for a relationship, but you're still holding on to anger and animosity from a previous relationship, you're only going to damage that person. You're not really going to bring the best of you 100%. So again, I feel you need to really explore the depths of yourself and really see where you need to heal from those past experiences. Okay. So we are starting off with the Two of Raphael, which is two hearts dedicated to creating something wonderful. Kindred spirits, don't give up on those you love. Okay, so in this particular aspect, the Two of Raphael is the Two of Cups. And what I'm kind of picking up here is that, I feel that you have this belief that love is supposed to be grand and blissful. And I feel that every time you come into union with a person, you automatically make a pure judgment and a pure decision that they are the one, that is your Two of Cups, right? Instead of recognizing that every relationship or a person that you encounter in your life has a purpose. There is a purpose and a reason as to why they are in your life. It is up to you to be more clear and understanding of what their purpose is in your life. And, understanding that when it comes to love, it isn't going to be happy, sunshine and flowers 24/7. There's going to be ups and downs. It happens in every relationship, and it takes work and dedication and commitment and proper communication in order to make that relationship thrive. Okay. So in this particular aspect, I feel that, there is someone that's going to be coming in for you, but it's going to be coming in for you at the right time. Do not dismiss anyone, right? It's really about you paying very close attention to every person that comes into your life and sort of asking yourself, what am I getting out of this? What am I not seeing? What am I not recognizing? How do I need to, move on from here? Okay. Next, you have the Wheel. Okay. So this is about new beginnings. It's about the end of delays, a change in direction. So I feel like things will start moving along for you in the relationship sector the moment that you can fully let go. When you can let go of the old story and tell yourself that you're ready for the new story is when things will start moving. They'll start moving into motion. Okay. Next, you have the Two of Ariel. So it's important to remember that the Two of Ariel is all about balance. And it says it's important to have balance, right? I feel that when it comes to relationships, it has to be balanced. It has to be fair. It has to be equal, and it has to be 50-50. Now, understand that I don't mean like both individuals are going to give 50-50 all the time. That isn't how it works, right? We have to understand that sometimes some of us will give more, but it isn't like it's the other person taking advantage of that all of the time. Okay. Next, you have the Six of Michael. So I love this because this is wanting to reassure you that the way that this relationship played out, it was meant to play out that way, because the Six of Michael is wanting you to know that it's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's bringing you to calmer shores, right? It's understanding that it played out the way that it was meant to play out because you needed to move in a new direction. You needed to be more in alignment with what you are truly desiring, what you're truly wanting. And next you have the Six of Raphael. So this is about embracing your inner child, embracing the love of companionship, of family, of friends, all relationships in all aspects, right? And again, it's really about you examining your own inner child wounding here, pile 4. I feel like maybe there's some things from your childhood that you need to let go of, that you need to forgive, that you need to just release so that you can move on and live in more alignment, live in an alignment with what you're truly wanting. Okay. So next we have Angel of Good News with the Angel of Divine Timing. Okay, I can't specify this enough here, pile 4. I feel that it's important that you recognize, and I think I've said this for many of the piles that I've done today, that, you know, there is a time, a time and a place of when things will occur in your life. And I feel that it's important that you just allow things to unfold naturally and organically so that you're not forcing things to fit in places where they're not meant to fit, or force individuals to fit when they don't fit. Okay. So understand that I feel like, you know, there is good news on the horizon for you when it comes to your relationships, but you have to be willing to just let it unfold naturally. So next we have Love Call, Keys on a Ring, and Engagement Ring. Okay, now for some of you, this could be that maybe, you know, it could be that maybe some of you broke off of an engagement. I feel that many of you just felt like, you know, this just wasn't the right union or the right fit for you. And some of you, this could be that maybe you're already in a direction of moving into a relationship that ultimately will lead to marriage. But again, it's in divine timing. Don't force it to fit. Don't don't try to make something out of nothing. So pile 4, this is your message. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time with your new message. Bye, guys.